Hey, good morning. It's June 10th. Last week, did you see the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox had two incredible games? They were decided in the last innings, and therefore the Cubs won both games, and I have on my Chicago Cub tie. Other things I heard this week is that to go to a trade school to become maybe an electrician or a plumber can cost you just $30,000. To get a college degree can cost you 4 times that or even more. And these people are coming out as electricians and plumbers making anywhere from $60,000 to $84,000. Wow, it's a good way to stay out of debt and to make a good income and have a good career. Other things, because this is filmed early, today is actually Thursday. What happened 80 years ago today? 80 years ago today, it was D-Day. Do you know what the D stands for in D-Day? Military, it simply stands for the word day. I hope you took some time and reflected upon the incredible loss of life and the task that had to be done. Anyway, let's get to today's topic. So, from what I can tell, about 48.5% of population in the United States is getting their health insurance from their employer. You know, one of the first employers, if not the first employer to offer health insurance to its employees goes back to actually 1910, and that was, believe it or not, Montgomery Ward. In the 40s, since we were just talking about World War II a little bit, I did a video previously on the Kaiser Shipbuilding company. They offered good health insurance to their employees during World War II. So what is group health insurance? Group health insurance, believe it or not, is where a group or an organization gets together to purchase group health insurance. And this is usually an employer or an organization or a union can purchase group health insurance on behalf of itself and its members. So what does it take to get a group health insurance policy? Well, one thing you definitely have to have is a federal identification number. That would be similar to a Social Security number, but it's for a business, for those of you who don't know what corporations are. And these need to have minimum of one, oh, that's kind of rare, but really 2 or more employees. So the breakdown is something like this. A small group would be considered 50 or fewer employees. A mid-sized group would be 51 to really 3,000, and a large group would be 3,000 and up employees. So one of the reasons why these group health insurance policies from an employer are so attractive is because they have a large number of people and the risk is spread out across a large number of people, which means that they can offer premiums at a much lower rate. So those of you who work for your employer, on your paycheck stub, usually it tells you how much you're paying for your insurance. I can tell you from my experience, as a rule, employers are charging the employee about 25% for the employee, and they're charging about 50% for the employee's dependents, such as a spouse and children. Yeah, okay, it's a percent mark, but how much does it really cost? Well, that's very hard to determine because the nature of the employer's business can affect the rate. So if you had somebody who's pouring concrete and those people are doing very heavy physical work, that group is going to be more expensive typically than an employer where they're just doing office work, like maybe accountants or something. Geographic locations can determine a premium. So out here in the suburbs of Chicago, rates are lower than if we went into, say, downtown Chicago on the Magnificent Mile. And then it's also a combination of the dependents, the genders, things of this nature can determine different rates for different employer-based groups. So employer, why would you want to offer health insurance to your employees? Well, and employees, listen to this because this is probably me speaking on your behalf. When an employer has health insurance, it makes the employee feel like the employer cares about them. It also helps to attract and retain quality help. If you don't have health insurance and you're an employer, you might lose your best employee to the guy down the street who's offering the same salary or maybe even a slightly lower one because that guy has health insurance for its employees. I see that all the time, all the time. So quickly to sum this all up, employers, you offer health insurance because it allows you to attract and retain employees. You offer health insurance because you're spreading the risk out and the premiums can be a lot lower than people finding it for themselves. So hey Mark, what's going on at the MLD agency? Well, last week we were able to work, and we're working with actually 2 different groups for their group health insurance. We were able to help a couple of people make a transition to Medicare supplements, and we're working on some property and casualty. So actually we had a little bit more of a busier week this week than we did last week, but then we also were working for 5 days. Anyway, hey, until next week, take care.